Morning, good morning. This is Venus with No Mess. How is everyone doing this morning? I hope everyone is having a great start today. I wanted to just hop on here a little bit. I have something maybe a little different from what I used to talk about, but this is talking about the school system. And I just wanted to say to the young folks, we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But one thing I want to let the young folks know, and really, like I say, everyone, it's best to be honest. It's best to be honest in everything we do. I'm not on here to point the finger at the superintendent. I'm not here to point the finger at the principal or the school system or anyone. I'm just on here to show you that we all make mistakes. If you know better, you need to do better. Okay? And this is what you call self control and discipline. Okay, guys, I want you to listen to this and I will chat in a little bit.
Iowa, they were in shock after the superintendent of their schools was arrested by ICE last week. Dr. Ian Roberts is accused of being in the United States illegally and allegedly fled from agents before being caught. Jeff Paul is live from Des Moines with details. Jeff, what is going on?
Yeah, strange story, Dana. And the head of Iowa's largest school district is now being placed on paid administrative leave. He's currently being held at a nearby county jail, all while parents and teachers right here in Des Moines try to figure out what exactly happened and what's next. Now, ICE tells Fox News it was on Friday when they arrested and detained Dr. Ian Roberts, superintendent for Des Moines Public Schools. They say he's an illegal immigrant from Guyana who was given a final order of removal in May of 2024. When federal agents tried to take Roberts into custody on a fugitive warrant last week, they claim he initially sped away. After finding his abandoned district-owned vehicle, authorities later found Roberts in a wooded area. DHS says they found a handgun, a knife, and $3,000 in cash inside his vehicle. School board chair Jackie Norris says they weren't aware of any final removal warnings for Roberts and says they still do not have all the facts.
I want to be clear, no one here was aware of any citizenship or immigration issues that Dr. Roberts may have been facing. The accusations ICE has made against Dr. Roberts are very serious, and we are taking them very seriously.
Now, DHS says Roberts last entered the U.S. through New York back in 1999 on a student visa. Officials say that he was not legally authorized to work in the U.S. after his employment authorization card expired in 2020. ICE says there was a prior weapons charge, but the school district says they were aware of a charge relating to a hunting rifle, which he disclosed during the hiring process. The school district also adding that they did all their background checks and nothing was flagged. They also said that Dr. Roberts signed some paperwork confirming that he was, in fact, a U.S. citizen. Dana?
Jeff Paul, thank you.
So, bizarre story. Jennifer Cronin, Des Moines mom, whose son was a middle school student in the public schools there. And Jennifer, thank you for your time. He's 54, hired from Erie, Pennsylvania. After he entered the U.S. in 1999, he went back to Guyana and participated in the Olympics, in the track and field. Bizarre stuff here. You've had some situations with the school board at a minimum. What do you think of this?
Right. I guess shocked, but not shocked. I've had a few dealings with the school board in probably the last 6 months or so, where concerns have been dismissed. And to say that those were probably some red flags that they should have addressed then, I think at the minimum, they should have taken my concerns seriously.
Wow. Okay, so here's the school board chair in Des Moines.
Mm-hmm.
All right, she's calling for what's called radical empathy in his case. Watch.
Right, yeah.
It seems fitting to take a page out of Dr. Roberts' book and ask the community to engage in radical empathy as we work through the situation together. Radical empathy is the recognition that we can disagree and still empathize with each other. The respect of others' humanity. This concept will be essential as we wait to learn more.
He was given an order to deport in 2024, May of that year. What do you think of this call just to wave the white flag and call this off?
When she said radical empathy to open her press conference on Friday, where she didn't take any questions, my jaw dropped, because right now what we need is radical honesty, radical transparency, and radical accountability. These are our kids we're talking about. This isn't, any job. This is the superintendent, which oversees our entire school district. So their words ring hollow to me.
Okay.
I think that they need to make sure that they're looking out for the best interest and the safety of our kids. And I don't see that happening. And that's something that I've brought to their attention previously.
Okay,
So,
well, let me just squeeze in one more thing. Jonathan Turley, we rely on for a lot of legal interpretation. He wrote this: the question is how the federal government will respond to these multiple school districts hiring Roberts. It is unlawful to hire someone with an illegal status under immigration laws. I mentioned Erie, Pennsylvania, and now Des Moines, Iowa. Some are saying that by most accounts, he was a good guy and cared for the kids. What would you say to them?
I will say that he was very charismatic. I will give you that. There were a lot of people who felt that way. And I did at the beginning as well. That my mom radar quickly went up in, I guess, the fall of 2023. So a few minutes after he started, when he recommended and the district approved this idea of lifting the prohibition on not hiring people with criminal backgrounds. So we had that going for us. And then just throughout the course of the last couple of years, there's been a lot of things that have caused me pause, caused red flags to go up in my mom's head. And I wasn't privy to any of the documentation or anything that he may have provided during his interviewing and hiring process. But if anything, I'm finding just as a mom detective online in the last couple of days, it indicates there were a lot of red flags that were missed. So when the school district's board chair goes on TV and says, no, there were no red flags, I find that hard to believe.
Okay, so we'll see what happens next. A bizarre story. Don't know if I've heard of.
Okay, I'm back, guys. Okay, guys. First, I want to say, and I want to say to the younger, especially the younger ones and the youth out here, like I mentioned before, we all make mistakes. If you know better, you do better. But I also want to say, guys, God's word frankly admit that we are inclined to do what is bad. The inclination of the heart of the man is bad from the youth up. And what I'm saying, this is even in the Bible, because sometimes we can do wrong. But young people, that doesn't mean that you have to act on that. And what I'm trying to say, just because the superintendent made a mistake, that don't mean you need to make those mistakes also. Okay? You need to learn from that. You need to learn from that. Because we're going to see a lot of stuff in the news in the next few weeks about the superintendent. They said he was a great guy. Yes, he was a great guy. But you're going to hear a lot of things from like the state representative, maybe the Republican, maybe senator and stuff like that. But I'm not trying to get into politics. I'm trying to be careful what I say. I don't want no one to come back and say I said that, because I'm neutral. I don't get into that out there. I'm all for our youth and young people to try to help them and guide them. But I just want to show our young folks out here that you need to be honest, because everything that you do out here in the dark will come out in the light, like they've always said. But we wish to conduct ourselves honest in all things. That's right. We should conduct ourselves honest in all things. Okay? And I'm trying to be very careful what I say on here because I don't want nobody to go say saying that this guy was a bad guy. No, he was not a bad guy. It's just that he told the truth, but he left out some things. This is what I'm going to say. He told the truth, but he left out some things. But if you didn't have the right to work in the United States, if you didn't have your paperwork, what I'm trying to say, he should have filed for his paperwork, okay? Because being a superintendent, you have to make sure people that you hire through the school board is not a felony. You got to make sure they're not a criminal to protect our kids out here. You have to make sure that they have a background. You have to make sure all the jobs they put on the application that they have worked there. And by him working as a superintendent and didn't have his paperwork intact, what is that saying about him? So this is what this young lady is trying to say on TV. But I'm trying to keep it, how can I say it? I'm trying to keep it more neutral. You know, I'm not trying to say he's a bad guy because he's not a bad guy. It's just that he made a mistake, guys. He made a mistake. And that's why I'm telling the young people out here now, what does it mean to be honest? Be honest means to be truthful and free of fraud. That's what be honest means. So young people, learn from things like this so you won't have to go down that path. Because this man is a much older guy. And be honest, he's older. He should know better, okay? He should know better. He should not be making these mistakes because he's a superintendent. But sometimes when things happen and people feel, well, you know, if I tell the truth, if I do this, then I'll lose my job. I may have to go back to starting over. But there's nothing wrong with starting over. Nothing wrong with going to the headquarters where you need to go to file your paperwork and say, look, I need help. I need these paper taken care of. He had done that a long time ago. Yeah, he might have to step down from being a superintendent at that time. And he probably would have been able to get his job back. I'm not for sure how it would. But look at what's going on now. He's like on the run, almost. And then when that happened, guess what? When things like this happen, guys, then they started going in your background. Look how he didn't have his paperwork to work here. Now they went in his background, found out some charges he had beforehand. But it's not like bad criminal charges. It's having a gun or something like that. It's not like he unalive someone. That's not that. But when things happen, it could be something really small happen to you. They'll start going in your background, pulling out all kind of other stuff that has nothing to do with the case. So that's why I'm telling the young people right now, be honest. And honest requires you to be fair in dealing with others. Come straightforward. Don't mislead anybody. And always be truthful. Okay? Always be truthful. And that way you won't have to go down this road. You don't have to deal with stuff like that. Even young people, when you fill out an application, don't put something on your application that's going to cause you to hurt yourself in the long run. Okay? Don't do that. A lot of young people will fill out applications. They will lie. Even same thing with buying a vehicle. You know, young people, don't go out here and put on your application to buy a vehicle that you make $65,000 and you only make $19,000. But guess what? Somehow you may get that application approved and you may get that car. But then once you get that car, you only making 19,000, and you told them you make 60,000. Your loan is based on your 60,000. Guess what? You're gonna have a problem paying that loan. You're gonna have to borrow money from someone or get another job to go with that job. So it's best to be honest in all things. I'm just trying to set an example for our young people. You are not the only one making mistakes. But if you know better, do better. And then we won't have to be facing these kind of situations. Okay? So guys, I want to say thank you for watching. And young people, please, self-control, discipline. And guys, we just have to be really careful to stay awake in this old crazy world that we live in, guys, especially young folks, and try to navigate this thing called life. So I want to say, guys, thank y'all, guys. And I need to get ready for the next live for this court procedure. So, guys, thank you, guys. Have a great morning, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.